Karen, my first question is for you. How did you get started into the film industry? And Deon, you can answer that as well too.
Uh, that's a good question. Because as when I was in college, I went to Purdue University in Southern Indiana, and I call myself a recovering filmmaker. I thought I was going to be a filmmaker, but the art and the work that goes into filmmaking was, just really beyond me. But I still have a love and an interest in film. And so what I ended up doing was putting together little, just little film like screenings for my friends and getting together with people, and, at house parties and watching movies. And, that's where my love for just the opportunity to get into a room and have a shared experience with people kind of grew. And yeah, I've been kind of doing it off and on ever since.
Okay, so like Deon, you kind of went the other route where you're directing and you do the actual films and everything like that. So explain how you got started as well.
I think the same way. Obviously, just being a fan of film, fan of movies, you know what I mean? Like growing up and just anything that comes out, you want to go see it. I think that was the first foray for me into like, movies and cinema. I never knew, when you were growing up, like just like all other badass kids around you, man. Like you know what I mean? Y'all quoting movies and doing stuff from movies, and you don't really know why, you know what I mean? But that kept happening to me. And then later in life, as a basketball player, I ended up being like sitting down watching the movie and being like, I'm gonna write a movie. Yeah, right. And had no idea, no experience, no nothing. And I tried it. And I credit that to just being someone who's willing to take a chance at stuff. I've been very blessed, man, to be able to be one of those people that never really was scared to like try something different. You know what I mean? Oftentimes, we come from environments where if you try something different and you fail, you look like a fool, you know what I mean? Or people like, I ain't doing that, you know what I mean? But as, early in life, I was like, I'm gonna try this. And I tried it. I was unsuccessful for a very, very long time. But what kept me going was, you're trying to write a movie or get a movie made, and every weekend some great movie come out and you go to the theater and you just be like, they don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So that's how I kind of got into this. 15 years later, we're standing here, talking about the Gary International Film Festival and, working with amazing people like Karen and the group out there and just getting ready to do something really special. So that's good because now what we're going to be able to do is all those kids that were like me and Karen and Tony and others that are out there, we're going to be able to say, yo, y'all like movies? You interested in it? All right, here's what we're doing. And we're going to do the same thing that they do to us with basketball, same thing they do to us with football, you know what I mean? Same thing they do to us with the military. Like, we're going to do that now with film so we could break and emerge some new filmmakers.
Exactly. I mean, that's one of the things that we're most excited about, with Deon coming to Gary, is that the fact that the industry, the industry that Deon is in, needs to be cultivated, needs to be developed. People, just in terms of, there is no real pipeline. This is kind of an emerging thing among Black Hollywood, is understanding that you have to create a pipeline of talent in order for folks to even, first of all, just like Deon and I were, at the Palace and the State Theater, sitting there watching movies and not really knowing how we could be a part of something like that. First of all, you have to see that it's possible for you to do that. And that's what Deon represents, kid, growing up just like everyone else who saw himself with the ability to do something creative. So that's the first step.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And Deon, you're going to be honored by the Gary International Black Film Festival on October 8th and the 9th. So can you describe to me, like, how does that feel? Like, when you found out, what was going through your mind?
I was, I was a little bit, took me a minute to respond because I was just like, wow, like, it's like it's what I like to call a full circle moment, and oftentimes, I don't know if you've ever had them or people experience them before, but they're kind of scary because you'd be like, all right, well, damn, like, wait, I came from there and now people are gonna, it was interesting. But it was a blessing, and the more closer we get to it, the more and more I'm excited about it. You don't do this stuff, man, so people could give you awards and award, and hold you up, and you do this stuff because you love it. And if you're doing it because you want those accolades, then you're in the wrong business, and you're not a good person. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you do what you do, philanthropy wise, film wise, you do it all because you love it. This is going to be quite the honor. I was born and raised in Gary, Indiana. I'm probably fifth, sixth generation. I'm one of the people that left Gary. You know what I mean? My mom was kind of like the person, her sisters, I'm like, girl, where you going? She was like, I'm getting these kids out of here. You know what I mean? So I got away from Gary, at an early age. But I find that, Gary is in everything I do. Every moment of my life that I've had to, break through something, I've always thought about those moments of not having, walking to school, winters, shoveling snow, just all the, heating your house with the oven. We came from that world. We don't have no money, don't have nothing. So, and I watched my mom work 2-3 jobs and still not have enough. So at the end of the day, Gary represents to me like home base. You know what I mean? It's what I always refer to when I feel like, oh man, you're doing great, D. I'll be like, let me just think for a second, like, man, take it back. You know what I mean? Take it back. Like, understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And just being able to go back. And I've spent quite some time going back and forth to Gary over the last, however many years. My family is still there. But this is a blessing because I've never been able to go to Gary and speak in this capacity. I've never been able to go to Gary and really actually be like, yo, I'm going to give back. You know what I mean? So hopefully this will be the door that opens for me to do a lot more than just get an accolade, but at the same time, really help become a staple in Gary for other Black and brown filmmakers that want to figure this thing out.
And we're grateful. I mean, we followed Deon's career. The Gary International Black Film Festival will be in its 11th year this year. And so, we're always looking at what folks from Gary are doing out there in the world. And, the thing about it is there's a lot of talent in Gary. Yes. There's a lot of really great, incredible talent in Gary. And Deon represents one of those folks. So when we reached out to him, we didn't know, whether or not he would reach back or, answer our emails. It's always a challenge when you're programming a festival. The filmmakers are busy. They are literally responsible for hundreds of jobs in the industry. One filmmaker is responsible for hundreds of jobs. So we reached out and he wrote us back, so that was the first thing. We were like, he wrote us back. It's, so we want to honor that. And we want to, show folks in Gary that, we all drink the same water. The creativity is there. The talent is there. And that people believe in our hometown.
So can you explain to me, like, the importance of festivals such as this for the
country? Yeah, we've learned a lot. Rebecca, about, how important this is to young and emerging filmmakers, which is the other thing that's going to happen when Deon comes to town. He'll have the opportunity, other filmmakers that have, this is their first film. A lot of the films in the Gary International Black Film Festival are first-time filmmakers. And this is the kind of encouragement a lot of them say that they needed to keep doing that work, And I'd be interested, Deon, what was the thing that, after you, started making films that let you know that, yes, this is what I need to be doing and this is where I need to be?
I think because I was a basketball player, you used to like playing games and winning, right? Or trying to win, you know what I mean? Or being competitive. And film kind of took that same form in my life where I was like, every time I was like told like, nah, man, no, 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 no. You know what I mean? Oh man, you trying to do what? Like it came to me more like, damn, this is competition now. You know what I mean? Like I really took it that way. Like, oh, you just told me no. You know what I mean? Or you told me I'm not good enough, or you told me like, oh, this script ain't good enough for you. You know what I mean? I started being like that. And the moment that I realized this is what I really wanted to do was when I accomplished getting on set. When I first accomplished raising my own money, having my own script, casting my own movie, and stepping on set. That was when I was like, oh man, like, damn, look at this. You know what I mean? And that was the thing, man, when you see that you're, heading 140 people on a production, and you're like, whoa, and everyone has to come to you and ask a question, and you're deferring to people and, being a point guard, you know what I mean? So when that happened, that's when I was like, all right, this is special, you know what I mean? And this is something I really want to keep doing forever.
And throughout history, we've seen like these misrepresentations of Black Americans in films. So when choosing which film to like show during the festival, what are some things that you look for?
That's a really good question. A lot of the films, when we started out the Gary International Black Film Festival, it was a curated festival. So we went out and we sought films that we thought would represent, how intricate and beautiful and delicate and wise and funny and incredible Black people are. And that's what we want to bring to the festival each year. And as the festival has grown to start taking submissions, at first we got just a few like small submissions from filmmakers who just, really wanted somebody to see their film. That's the other part, about this industry. You can make an incredible, great, beautiful, wonderful, dynamic film. Nobody sees it. And so for a lot of these, young filmmakers, this is their opportunity to get their films in front of an audience and see them react and respond. I was listening to an interview a couple of weeks ago with Quentin Tarantino, and he said that the film Jackie Brown that he made, he sat in the theater every day for a month and watched that film, watched the audience watch that film together. And that's a powerful thing, not only for the filmmaker, but for the people who are in the room experiencing that film together. So we look for films that, represent our beauty, our complexity, and we program those films and we have incredible conversations with filmmakers and audience folk.
It's absolutely amazing and very true. I love that you said all that. October 8th is going to be proclaimed as Deon Taylor Day. How do you feel about that?
That's awesome, man. Like, that's great. Like, that's something that you just, will always be proud of. That someone somewhere said, yo, on this day, this is going to be your day. And I know a lot of people kind of take these moments as like, wow, that's great. I'm really looking at the moment and being like, yo, okay, so for the rest of my life, what am I going to do on that day to help communities in that area? You know what I mean? So for me, it weighs a little bit different. Yes, I'm excited. Yes, I'm like, we've been like, damn, that's crazy. And, doing all that. But the other side to this is like, all right, like, what does that really mean? In terms of like, what are you doing? That's, tell people you would have a Deon Taylor Day on that day and for the rest of your life, or do you really, really drive to make impact? And I'm really looking at that, man. Life is really short. And the older you get, the more you really understand how short it is and how quickly you understand like these moments are moments, So for me, doing this on October 8th is going to be a blessing. It's going to be something that I'm so proud to share with my daughter and my sons, you know what I mean? To be like, man, look, y'all can do this, like, it's just one more of those things, but at the same time, it is a heavy moment because it does mean that you need to be responsible for something, and it gets me a little upset when people get these honors and there's no follow-up. You know what I mean? Like for me, I would love to be the person that actually follows up. And it's not about, you know, changing your whole life for that day, but it is like, man, you got to put that on your calendar and be like, yo, what am I doing to give that energy back? Because someone gave me this, you know, period. So I'm excited about it.
And you mentioned follow-up. So do you have any ideas of what you would like to do?
Yes. What I'm love to work on is putting together some programs in Gary. You know, when I get there, I'm gonna have some real conversation about community center for film. I know there's a lot of energy around, you know, hard hit urban areas right now. And what I think would be really, really cool is if there was, you know, some type of what I'm going to call like STEM school for film, you know what I mean? Where kids can go operate cameras, you know, watch movies, you know what I mean? Have people come visit that area locally that's doing film. I think, you know, what's equivalent to an open gym, right? But for film. And I think that would be something really, really cool. And I think you could kickstart something like that and get someone in there to, you know, volunteer and get around that. And that could be something very, very powerful for the future.
Yeah, it's important for us to see what we can be. And I think that's what, you know, that's what's going to be represented when on Deon Taylor Day. All eyes in Gary will be on Deon, his work. And in fact, this Saturday, we're doing a Deon. I know we didn't even ask him, but we're doing this thing that we call a Deonathon, which is an opportunity for folks to watch 3 of Deon's films, like binge watch 3 of Deon's films and, you know, get to know his work a little bit more intimately so that when he comes to Gary on Deon Taylor Day, they'll know a little bit more about not only, you know, the depth and the breadth of his work, but, you know, we'll talk about opportunities within the industry that, you know, are in front of the camera, are behind the camera. I mean, the industry needs carpenters. The industry needs electricians. The industry needs caterers, cooks, makeup artists. In fact, you know, one of the Mia Neal, also from Gary, won an Academy Award last year for her work in, you know, in makeup and hairdressing. So that, you know, one of the things that Deon Taylor Day is going to do is open up the industry to folks who, you know, may or may not know that, you know, what it takes to make a film in Hollywood is more than, you know, just the actors in front of the camera, that it is a complete industry that has room for all of us and has room for people that look like us.
Definitely. And I want to thank you guys for joining me today because you guys are amazing and you guys are making such an impact in the community of Gary. And I love to follow all of your work and watch all of your movies. And I'm extremely happy to say that I interviewed you guys today.
Thank you so much. Great to see you, Rebecca. And let us know if we need to be back on here for anything.
Of course, we will definitely be having you guys back.
All right. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you.
You.